Call meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Seaside, Park County, Ocean State of New Jersey, held on Thursday, March 19, 2026, advertised to begin at the conclusion of the work session meeting, which has ended several moments ago. Pursuant to the provisions of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting the notice of meeting for publication to the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on January 2nd, 2026. Notice of the hybrid meeting was properly provided by posting the notice on the Seaside Park Borough website on March 17, 2026. Notice of the meeting, the governing body, has been posted in the corridor of the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Councilmember Condos?
Here.
Councilmember Connor?
Here.
Councilmember Kraft?
Here.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Here.
Councilmember Toth?
Here.
Council President Wilk?
Here.
Mayor Peterson?
Here.
Thank you.
And let us now all join together and rise in a moment of silence to be followed by a pledge of allegiance. And we particularly offer our condolences to Councilmember Kraft and his entire family on the loss of his wife, Pat Kraft, who was a longtime good friend to the Borough of Seaside Park and to the Triborough First Aid Squad and other organizations. And we remember her and we pray for her family, for Bill as well. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda is request for approval of the minutes of March 5th, 2026, a work session, March 5th, 2026, the regular meeting. Any comments from council? If not, I motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Councilmember Condos.
Second it.
Second by Council President Wilk. Roll call.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Councilmember Toth?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next is final reading and adoption bond ordinance 22610, providing for the improvements to parking lots 1, 2, and 3, and appropriating $2,800,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,800,000 in bonds or notes of the Borough of Seaside Park to finance the costs thereof. Any comments from council on second reading? If not, we'll go into the audience. Any questions, comments on second reading, final reading 22610? Seeing none, I would close the public portion and entertain a motion from council.
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Connor,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Toth. Roll call.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Toth?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next, first reading and introduction, ordinance 22618, an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits to establish a cap bank as per NJSA 40A4-45.14, standard procedure, this town and most towns as well, to have what amounts to that excess if needed. And this is a first reading. Any comments from council? And if not, a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Connor,
Second.
second by Councilmember Rotunda. Roll call.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Toth?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next is first reading, introduction, ordinance 22619, accepting annexation of the 168 acres known as South Seaside Park in the township of Berkeley. Any comments from council from first reading?
I do, Mayor.
Yes.
similar to what other people have, I guess, commented to us, and I think we've had a lot of opportunity to hear from the public, both at those information sessions, which took place at Triborough, and then again here. I don't necessarily disagree with people who say the report should probably have a version 2 that gets published. I think that was stated tonight, and I think we should ask them to do that. But, you know, I think I speak for myself and others up here is that we take this role very seriously. This vote is not one that we initiated or chose to have to do. It's been placed before us, and now we need to do the best we can. I think it's a complex decision. Privately, and I think somewhat publicly, I've also, you know, questioned why we had to move so fast, but here we are. And I think, in my opinion, we're all going to come at it from a different perspective, similar to what Joanne said. She looks at it one way, someone else is looking at it at zoning, someone's looking at financials. I think at the end of the day, we need to each take the information that's been provided in the study, as well as our own expertise, and make a decision based on what we feel comfortable with, and representing all of you as our constituents. I don't think you'll ever make anyone happy in this, and that's just a given, so I'm okay with that. I also consulted with our attorneys to make sure that regardless of the vote tonight, that we each have the opportunity, should this move forward to a second reading, to change our vote on the 30th, thereby giving ourselves what unfortunately is only 10 more days, but it is still 10 more days. So I just wanted to make that clear that that weighs into my thoughts tonight.
Any other comments from council?
Mayor, I just want to echo what Gina said. I appreciate, Gina, those comments that you made. This is not an easy decision for any of us. I think it's important that, you know, what Gina said is that we're all taking it very seriously. Whether or not we respond to emails or not, we see them and we read them, and we really do take everybody's input into account. And like Gina said, this is not an easy decision, one that we are definitely taking seriously. I just want to echo what Gina said.
Just so the record's clear, there may have been a misunderstanding from one questioner in the audience. The addendum impact study in general has been published in its entirety online. So I guess
just for clarity though, the addendum is actually brand new information that's not even in the original study. It's written differently, there's different tables in it, and I think what's being requested is that the original full study, in my opinion, should be redlined to show what's actually was incorrect and then revised. And so you have a version 2 of that complete study. There'll be sections that are untouched, and then there'll be sections that are either replaced by, you could delete, say, this section replaced in its entirety with addendum, whatever the number you want to call it is. I think that's what's being requested, and for purposes of going forward, regardless of the decision, you'll have a document that reflects the latest information.
Any other comments from council? Is there a motion for first reading?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Kraft,
Second?
second by Councilmember Rotunda. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
Councilmember Condos,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Toth,
Yes.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
motion approved.
Next on the agenda are authorizations. There are two. The Union Church Easter Sunrise Service, Sunday, April 5th, 2026, 6 a.m. to 7:30 a.m., location 5th Avenue, Ocean Beach. The second is Pure Times River Yoga and Wellness Beach Yoga, Saturdays and Sundays, May 23rd to September 7th, 2026, time 7:45 a.m. to 8:45 a.m., J Street, Ocean Beach. Any comments from council on either of the authorizations, or if not, a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Kraft,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Toth. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Councilmember Toth,
Yes.
Councilmember Condos,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
motion approved.
Next are payment of claims, 226-134. It's approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the check registry bill list for the period of March 6, 2026 to March 19, 2026. Any comments from council Or if not, a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Councilmember Toth,
Second?
second by Councilmember Kraft. Roll call?
Councilmember Toth?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember
I'm
Condos?
going to abstain, I didn't get to those.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next are the resolutions I read in summary fashion. 226-135, authorizing 2026 raffle license applications. 136, appointing a seasonal employee for the Borough of Seaside Park Marina. 137, appointing special law enforcement officers for the Borough of Seaside Park. 138, approving the alcohol beverage control social affair permit for Seaside Park Volunteer Fire Company Number 1, Inc. 139, authorizing an education reimbursement. 140, appointing John Guz as recycling yard attendant. 141, memorializing payments to the LoSAP program. 142, appointing James Rankin as lifeguard captain. 143, appointing Jake Steinmetz as beach control manager. 144, opposing the real rules in their current form, which have initiated initially by the DEP and thereafter passed in the lame duck session of the legislature. 145, authorizing the payment of emergency time. 146, amending Resolution 226-119 to correct compensation for the account clerk payroll clerk. 147, accepting fiscal year 2025 community development block grant funds and authorizing the execution of the sub-recipient agreement. 148, authorizing T&M Associates to provide professional engineering services to provide design, contract administration, and construction observation services for fiscal year 2026 NJDOT municipal aid roadway improvements to F Street. 149, appointing seasonal employees for the Department of Beach Control. 150, authorizing a salary increase for the Chief Financial Officer. 151, authorizing a salary increase for the Code Compliance Supervisor. 152, amending Resolution 22678 to change the terms of compensation for temporary building inspector. 153, authorizing an adjustment of designated water sewer utility counts for Block 88, Lot 9. 154, authorizing an emergency appropriation in accordance with NJSA 40A 4-20. 155, authorizing the exception of a donation from Seaside Park Historical Society, that being the wall outside painting and the memorial to former Mayor Delaney, named after him for all the mayors in the history of the town. 156, authorizing seasonal pump operators for the 2026 summer season. 157, authorizing Remington Vernick engineers to provide professional engineering services for the construction, management, and inspection of the 14th Avenue Stormwater Pump Station. 158, authorizing change order number 1 to the contract with Remington Vernick engineers to prepare NJIB, that's the iBank SFY 2026 Clean Water SRF application for the procurement of municipal stormwater maintenance equipment. 159, authorizing the mayor to sign a CAFRA permit application, that being an application from the Seaside Park Yacht Club and reflecting the historic recorded lease arrangement. 160, appointing a qualified purchasing agents, and that being our clerk, Jenna, who we congratulate and thanks for her service. I don't know, we might give him a fence. Does anyone on council have any comments? We've discussed several of them at the work session. Any of the resolutions?
Just on 144, the real rules, I'd just like to acknowledge, I know that, Mayor, you've been working with other mayors up and down the coast on this, and also our Assemblyman Paul Kinitra has been extremely vocal on this. It impacts pretty much everybody who owns homes along the coast, so if you're not familiar with them, I'd encourage you to read more about it or get engaged. And obviously, you know, we're fighting the battle at the state level, and I think it's definitely a, you know, regardless of party, this is something that everybody should be opposed to. So I'm glad that we have it on here.
Well said, and you're correct. One of the leaders, and in fact, not just the area, the entire state is the assemblyman from this district, Assemblyman Kenitra, and the three senators, Senator Amato, Senator Holzapfel, have all opposed this vigorously in the voting. Senator Singer. And it's been opposed at the Ocean County Mayor Association level as well. The three senators I mentioned are co-sponsors of the bill. The bill to amend this drastically, if not repeal the entire real rules, has been introduced by the Senate President. And this bill, I would just encourage anyone and everyone to go online, read about it, obtain a copy, even look at the minutes of our own planning board has discussed it at length, and we welcome and thank the chairman who's here and member Council President Wilk have been out in the forefront addressing that. This has been described as a substantial overreach of the authority never authorized to the DEP, and why it's become promising, perhaps, that it might get repealed or amended is it is an entirely bipartisan group that are fighting these rules. And I could go on at length as to the relevance with our Barrier Island community as well as South Seaside Park. And we've talked about this at the planning board as well, what this could, if this is not corrected, what could happen. So well said, and I know we've talked about it here at the planning board as well. It's very, very unfortunate. It has a very potentially devastating impact. And it even has gone so far, it's up and down almost every town in Ocean County. It's up the river, up in northern New Jersey, towns that had no idea they were going to be affected. And that's probably why it's getting such opposition now that seems to be growing. Any other comments from council on any resolution? Hearing none, I'll go into the audience, which is our practice, not required by law, but we do allow comments on resolutions if anyone has any, if they could give their name and address into the record. Yes, Edie?
Edie Plank, 48 11th Avenue. Just two quick ones. These real rules, is that the program by which they're saying that any new housing or any housing with substantial renovations has to be elevated even higher? Is that what this is?
That's correct.
Okay, I just didn't know that's what it was called, real rules. Okay, I was aware of that, and I think it's awful too. One other question on 147, when it talks about the block grant fund for handicap accessibility improvements on Ocean Avenue, is that for openings that are not part of the current boardwalk project?
It's tied to the current boardwalk project.
Yeah.
So the cement cut-ins to go to the ramps, that's what this block grant will cover.
So was that part not covered by the original contract with the boardwalk people?
So it's part of their contract, it's just being paid separately. It's being paid through the grant instead of through the funding that we got through the IPAC.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments on resolution, Shirley?
Shirley Cresswell, 700 North Bayview Avenue. On 150 or 151, the salary increase for the chief financial officer and the code compliance. This isn't usually the time, why are we giving an increase in March?
Because that's when they started and it's their annual increase. It's been 1 year since our last.
So they started in March and this is there.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments on resolutions? Hearing none, I would close the portion as to resolutions and entertain a motion from council as a consent agenda.
Take the motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Condos
Second. Chairman.
and second by Councilmember Rotundo. Roll call.
Councilmember Condos?
Well, I was wrong with that.
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Toth?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion reads.
And that concludes the written agenda. Anyone else on council at this juncture? Yes.
I actually announced that Friday, May 22nd, this is going to be our first annual, Seaside Heights have reached out to us to, do a tug of war. And I think we passed a resolution to do this, but it's in the works. The Recreation Committee, the administrator, we met with the representatives from Seaside Heights, so it's underway. It's going to be a Friday, May 22nd at 3 p.m. Kind of like kick off to summer, Friday Memorial Day weekend. Little friendly competition between the Heights and the park, tug of war, and proceeds are going to go to benefit both Seaside Park, Seaside Heights Fire Department. So come on out, we'll get on our social media. There'll be. Yeah.
And a percentage for Triborough.
There's also, it was a throughway when this was envisioned back a year ago. Triborough First Aid Squad, I think, is very important.
There will be a percentage going.
And so that draft flyer needs to be amended.
And it will be amended because that is
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress, but we are going to get the updated one up there. And, they go to exit82.com for more information when it gets up. And it's going to be good. Come on out and support all of the recipients of the donations and whatnot.
Where's it being held exactly?
It's going to be held at Porter Ave Beach.
Porter Ave Beach?
At Porter Ave, border of Seaside Heights and Seaside Park. So it'll be good.
And there's also discussion of a community tug of war too,
Yes.
so members of the
A
community,
third
Seaside
team,
Park, and
yes.
Seaside Heights,
Yes.
as well as
Yes.
people who
The
work
two,
here.
what are the, as we speak, it's the two fire companies have a team and then employees?
Yes, that's what was kind of envisioned at first.
And there may be a
We're
third.
talking about maybe council and mayor for both towns doing it, or something like that.
Each mayor is gonna have their own thing.
I think that the.
Just the mayors, yes.
Yeah.
That's the third one. So you're gonna break.
So then that's a tie break.
Well, I'm just letting you know, Richie Compton's gonna be away.
Oh, man. There's an opening for us.
And John, I think the
Police.
subways in Tom's River are gonna donate part of their proceeds on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Jersey Mike's.
Donate-
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's.
There's a mic. Yeah, thank
We
you.
heard Bums might be doing some donation too.
That's what we heard, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
That's,
You don't ask, the answer's no.
I can tell you, part of the competition is how much each town raises, okay? And you could get the winning town could get a little award with that also. And dollars,
Bragging rights.
bragging rights.
Trophies.
So get your wallets ready.
Yes.
Yes,
I have a question, Councilman. When you said it's gonna be on Porter Avenue,
yes.
I mean, are you gonna do the real deal and have the municipal border marked off?
Oh, it's
right down
gonna- oh, it's-
Porter Avenue?
It's gonna be
Seaside
real.
Heights on one side, the Seaside Park on the other?
Oh, hands down, it's gonna be real.
Okay,
It's
all right,
official.
It's gonna be real.
I like it.
There may be a promo video coming out too.
There is gonna be a
starring
promo video.
both government bodies.
A couple of weeks prior, that's going to go out on social media and everything. There's going to be a cup awarded each year also. This will be the first annual cup. And there's going to be some fun things done during that promo video that's going to go out prior to.
Awesome.
Anything else from council?
I love costumes.
No.
Hearing,
Oh, Mayor, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You said yes, I just want to share with you all some of the beach badge revenues, because I know early in the year, somebody had asked for it, and I said I would get it to everybody, that we did in 2025. So, in comparison, 2024, which was a very bad year, we did $1,995,299.16. In 2025, we did $1,971,947.01. You can see there's cents there because if you all remember last year, we stopped eating the credit card fee, which I know in 2024 amounted to just under $51,000 the town was paying for credit card charges. So then we put it on the person with a credit card. That charge goes there with their beach badge fee. So the delta there, the difference was $23,352 less in 25 than 24. However, in 2025, I don't know if you remember, in the beginning of May, the weekends were open, the weekends were horrible in weather. It was great during the week when we weren't working, and then when the weekends came working, it was horrible weather. And then in August, we actually had closed, not the beaches, but there were no beach badge checkers for 4 whole days, not together, but 4 whole days. So that's additional revenues that we would have lost during that time. So quite frankly, it's not too bad. We pretty much came even with a very banner year in 2024 with just being, $23,352 less than the year before. So, yes.
We had terrible weather.
The weather was good. You know that from your place.
Oh, yeah. John, I have a police report for February.
Yes.
All right, in February, we had 363 calls for service, 40 motor vehicle stops, 8 motor vehicle summonses. There was 1 motor vehicle traffic accident, no domestic violence incidents, 11 emergency first aid calls were answered. 7 firearms background investigations were processed, 5 background investigations were conducted for, I guess, Class 1 and Class 2, Chief. Okay. Employee training during the month of February, less lethal recertification was Patrolman King. Ocean County Police Academy instructors were Patrolman Stilton, Patrolman Del Conte, Patrolman Buss. There was 1 internal affairs investigation in February, 1 detective bureau investigation, 1 suicide, 1 sexual assault, no use of force reports, and the PD participated in the Central Regional High School job fair. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chairman. Anything else from council? Hearing none, we'll go into the audience. If there are any public comments, if anyone has them, if they could give their name and address into the record. Shirley?
Last time, Shirley Pressel, 700 North Bayview Avenue. On the comment about the beach badges, on the website where you get the boxes, it says March 15th that the badges went on sale. But they're not.
Online.
Online. Okay.
It's still, the online sales started March 15th.
Okay.
Everything's regular, like May 1st, in person at the bathhouse.
Okay.
And you can pick up, if you bought them online, you can pick them up in person starting May 1st.
Okay. My main question is, when we had the first ice storm, we were told about the warming center at Triborough. Then the second storm, when people were without power for either 1 to 3 days, nothing was told about a warming center. Do we still have a place where if you're freezing in your house, there's a place to go that has heat? Because nothing came out about it on that one. I don't know if there's a generator, or does the firehouse have a generator for people?
This building was open.
Attached to Triborough.
But there was some notice
We would have
about it.
brought people here. I believe there's a problem with the generator at Triborough.
Okay, because there, nobody was told anything, some people were quite chilly in their homes. So maybe we could think ahead, hopefully not till next year. But, remember to put something out, because there were people that we didn't know where we could go. Thank you.
Yes, any?
Hi, Tom Bars, 27 Brighton Avenue. Is there a reason there's no mobile mats on Brighton Avenue's access point to the beach?
Yeah, there is, because if there were Moby mats there, vehicles go up and down there.
I understand.
Moby mats would rip up,
Well,
potentially.
you should look at Harding Avenue in Orton Beach, and you should look at Kitty Wake in Seacrest Beach. They are both emergency access entrances to the beaches, and they both have on the sides pedestrian Moby mats for people to access that. And I can tell you, as a resident, on Brighton, it is very challenging for our older residents to navigate that access point onto the beach. And I think there's more than enough room for at least a pedestrian section to be placed there. So I'm just asking that be taken into consideration. The other question I have, not to go back to the amendment that was passed relative to the annexation. I know it is complex. I appreciate your efforts in this. I am disappointed that as numerous times, including myself from the first information session, it was requested that we go at this in a very conscientious, slow pace. And even Councilwoman Condos had mentioned that the time stamp for this. no one has answered the question as to why this ordinance had to be presented today for its first reading and what is driving the urgency. And I'm just sharing my disappointment that that question has never been answered as numerous times as it has been presented to the council. And then lastly, in the ordinance itself, what is the portion of the 168 acres that is being annexed? Because in the ordinance, the title talks about accepting annexation of 168 acres known as South Seaside Park. But in item number 1, where it says therefore now be ordained, the Borough Council accepts annexation of a portion of the 168 acres known as South Seaside Park located in Township Berkeley. What is the portion of the annexation that is being considered?
It's the whole 168 acres that
Is
is.
this written wrong?
Yes, I wrote it, and I would have wrote it wrong. That portion, that part about a portion should be removed. It's not a substantial change. It doesn't change the ordinance. But for clarity's sake, it's 168 acres.
Okay, so this has to be correct.
Yep. I believe you have it in Word. If you just take out part with your portion and it's.
Okay. And then, that's fine. Then my last point, again, to Councilwoman Condo's point about revising the annexation analysis. I mentioned this in another previous meeting. You should encourage your consultants to put a picture of Seaside Parks, beaches, and boardwalks on that report, not Seaside Heights, which is on there. And I actually had shared that with them offline in one of the first meetings, but apparently they chose not to make that change either. So I just want to leave you with that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir?
Thank you.
Would you like to go in? Very quickly, so to.
Name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, Greg Raymond, 38 Brighton Avenue, Seaside Park. Again, recognizing Ms. Condos and To's messages, thank you. Is the second question that Mr. Bars asked, is there an answer to that as to why you heard from some of my fellow residents that it might have been good guidance when mistakes are made to just take a step back and assess things, the public perception, the look? I mean, it looks really rushed. Why did it have to happen today? Is it a state law that you had to do something on the 19th of March? Did you have the opportunity to push this out?
So there's no legal requirement as far as a particular date, certainly nothing like the 19th of March, though, as I've indicated, there are parts of the statute that are surprisingly specific, but that is not one of them. There is not a legal requirement as to a particular time, but certainly, the consideration of the ordinance and the question, there's been a lot of debate on it, but to your question, no, it's not a legal requirement.
Yeah, and it may have been the right decision that you've made, but you're all in this, and thank you for volunteering your roles and so forth. But the optics of what we just did off of bad information so quickly, you've left yourselves and the whole community open for second guessing. Should the data have not been accurate, and should we have made not such a great decision? So I ask, when you come back in 30 days, if you decide to pause,
10 days.
in 10 days, if you decide to pause, that's not a sign of weakness or error. It's a sign of just giving yourself the time to look at the data that's accurate and make the best decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? Yes, Faye?
Hey, Herring, 21 I Street. This is for a community service comment. The Historical Society is having a breakfast on May 16th, and the tickets are in. They're $20 for a ticket. Triborough and John has tickets, or you can get them. I have some tickets. There's a limited number because of fire regulations, and there will be no tickets sold at the door. And there's also going to be, since it is Armistice Day, there will be a collection of toiletries and whatnot taken for our troops overseas. And a list of those requested donations, are on the back of each ticket. So hopefully you guys will support it.
It's only $20.
Yeah, I'm sorry, $20.
Yeah.
And we're actually getting that on our website too.
And for those of you who remember the 125th year that we had here, we had a breakfast for the same thing at Triborough and on Armed Forces Day, Armistice Day. I know that's a for my days too. So, it's exactly similar to that. That was very successful that day. There was a number of items that were donated for for our service people overseas. So for those of you who were there for that one, it's very similar to that event for the 125th. Yes.
Catered by Cleese.
Catered by Cleese. Yes. Yes.
Any other public comments? Yes, Mike?
Mike Spadafino, 59th Avenue. I want to lead off by saying that I agree with the council in the opposition to the rules of real in its current form, but I don't think that we should blow off or have disrespect for the research that has been done for the dangers of what might happen here in 75 years. I definitely will be dead. There's no doubt about it. But my ancestors will hopefully be holding property in this town that I love just as much. But I want to just say that if we don't take into consideration our methodology of handling things and move towards renewable energy, then their projections are going to be real. And there will be no Seaside Park, South Seaside Park, or much of the Barrier Island will be gone. So let me just say we have to try to work within the system and not think that the DEP is just our total enemy. Let's work with them. Let's try to make a plan that will help us survive so that there will be a Seaside Park in 75 years. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike, and we could certainly debate it, but I would encourage everyone to look at Asylum and Kenichi's research, and unfortunately the study was based on a old, outdated study through some Rutgers University individuals, and one of the authors has disavowed it, repudiated it, and gone against it. So that's what we're dealing with, but that didn't stop the DEP. You are correct, ultimately, and we were asked recently to start a suit, and we do not necessarily sue at will or lightly. That's something, the first approach is always to act with reason. I agree with you. Try to work something out, and hopefully it won't fall on deaf ears. It's a Senate president is driving the ship, and so it's got a bipartisan group of legislators are all working on this. So, but as we speak, it's been adopted and it is in effect already. Yeah. Any other comments? Hearing none, we'll close the public portion. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion then.
Motion by Councilmember Connor, second by Councilmember Kraft. Roll call.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Councilmember Toth?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.